you know me, I like my books.
I'm here doing homework. Well, I have you here though. There's been something that's been pricking my spirit that I mean to ask.
Yeah, what's up, sis?
So my family wants me to celebrate Christmas, but there's something about it that just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm not sure.
All right, well, let me ask you a question. Are they asking you to just come and hang out, or do they want you to actively celebrate it?
Actively celebrate.
Okay, so, well, you know, if it was just you going over to hang out with them, that's up to your own discretion. But if they're wanting you to actively celebrate, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 10, it says, "My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not." Now, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you whether you decide to go over there and do that or not. I would advise you not to do it. Because at the end of the day, like I'm saying, you have to choose who you're going to serve. Are you going to choose the Most High, or are you going to serve Satan? Because if you end up choosing to go over there and celebrate that holiday with them, you are essentially, and you still want to seek after the Most High, that's showing that you're lukewarm. And in Revelation 3:16, you know what happens to people who are lukewarm. It says that if you're lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, the Most High is going to spew you out of his mouth.
I definitely don't want to be spewed out. Thank you for that.
Do you have questions?
Yeah, so I definitely don't want to be spewed out. And so I do have my Bible, and Romans 14:5-6 actually says, "One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doeth not regard it. He that eateth, eateth to the Lord, for he giveth God thanks, and he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not and giveth God thanks." So doesn't this support that I can celebrate Christ any day?
Well, yeah, of course you want to celebrate Christ every day, but nowhere in that scripture does it say that you should be going over there to celebrate Christmas. Because in Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, and the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold, they fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not."
Wow. Oh my. The Bible literally says about the tree that is used in Christmas tradition. That part crazy right there.
And going on with that, in the book of Amos chapter 5, verse 21, it says, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies." The Most High is not going to acknowledge any paganism done in his name. So even if you go into it with pure intentions, he's not paying attention to all that. It's because if he didn't set it aside for it to be holy and acceptable unto him, what do you think about that?
So is there any alternative that the Most High does deem to be holy and acceptable?
Oh, I am so glad you asked. Have you ever heard of Purim?
Per who?
Purim.
Purdue? Isn't that a college?
No, girl, Purim.
Purim. What's that about?
Oh, girl, get comfortable because we're going to have to go into it. All right, so I personally have walked a few miles in Esther's shoes, and I personally have seen the wicked acts of Haman and Zeresh. Anyways, so Esther was the queen of Persia, right? Now, and she was newly married to the king of Persia. Now, this man loved his wife. Like, as half of the kingdom, he was giving her anything, whatever she wanted. And one of his top advisors was Haman. Now, Haman hated the Jews, so much so that in chapter 3, verse 8, he's talking about, he puts an edict out that he wants to have them all killed. And now, the Most High is obviously like, okay, we can't have that. I'm going to use Esther to make these moves for me. So she went before the king without being summoned. Now, back in those days, you couldn't go before the king without being summoned, or you could face death if he didn't approve you with his golden scepter.
Really? Even his wife?
Even his wife. But, he loves his wife. So of course he's going to let her come in. And so she puts out a banquet. And at this banquet, she's like, okay, let me tell you tomorrow. So they have another banquet. So they have another banquet. And then that's when she's able to expose Haman for what he really is trying to do. He's trying to take all of her people. And Haman was hanged for that. So then they're unable to reverse the edict because every word of the king was law. So Mordecai was able to put out one of a law of his own that would allow the Jews to defend themselves, and they won. And in chapter 9, verse 22, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned from them unto sorrow, from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. Jumping down to verse 26. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter, and of that which they had been seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
Well, thank you, sis. I will take heed to all the information that you have given me today. The next book I'll be reading is definitely Esther.
Girl, that's like my tradition. And don't forget to come to church next week, because that's the history of Purim. That lesson's coming up soon.
I'll be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.